Okay, good evening, everyone. So we are here with the analysis of the latest paper, which is CDC Pro 3, and we'll see what this how you have performed, what was a good score, and we will discuss about the way forward also. But okay, so Shivku's Gejo,
Gejo,
yes,
I'll just
opening comments on the paper.
I think opening comment of the paper, it seems to be like DLR seems to be something that is better than the usual one. At least people did better. Okay,
Hmm.
but VRC there seems to be a little bit of struggle, and QA the QA, I don't know. I think Shivku should say. I think more or less
Yeah,
what I felt
QA
was
is more or less. QA has not been. I mean, it was not as easy as last time. It was maybe one question tougher than the open mock, and I think DI compensated for it by being a little easier than the open mock.
The
okay.
DI
Let me
actually
just
was an interesting paper. Every set looked doable. So here the challenge would have been in choosing the right set of data, which one to start with. So this was a paper where you could have started from anywhere actually. So that to that extent would have been slightly easier.
so this is sort of the story. So if I look at and if I start by saying that this is a statistically valid number to look at that one, which I believe this is kind of like the 2020.
Yeah,
Uh, very similar, I think somewhere between 2021 2022. So some of the lower one is looking like a 2022. I think the it would have been largely because how sort of DLR could have changed, because verbal was slightly more tougher than at least the last 3 years cat. So that's the story that we can see. I could, yeah, this is a story. Yeah.
Okay.
So these scores, and I mean these scores, it's almost same. I think, which is very rare that you see, na? That
Mhm.
at that level, VRC, DLR, and QA. Usually, what you find is this is usually about 45ish, and this will be about this probably will be about 33, and this at least last year was about 30s, no? That's what I
Yeah.
remember.
Last
Uh,
year this was actually yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so
Normally
so
this would
the,
be if you
uh,
removed last time, I think
uh,
normally 38 would give you a 99.5 is fine. So
yeah,
but
yeah.
yes, for last year it was definitely the
Uh,
lower limit.
the usual without, if I take 2023 to be anomaly, this is the usual thing that you get. This DLR gave opportunity, I think. But what has happened with VRC is kind of again something that we have seen in the all India market as well. The 99.5 percentilers are usually those people who are looking at all the four questions, but they kind of could not. Uh, so, so would have probably. But I think at some level this VRC was slightly tougher than usual, but this is a story. Anything you want to add, GP, or any students that make any comment from there you want to pick up, or
Let me see if there are any comments from the stores as such. If there's a
DLR
comment
question
on
paper.
DILR question, we'll look at that.
Let me check that out.
The
I think
answer is
answer
correct. I've just checked the question because my answer I think were matched. So the answer is correct. I have not looked at the explanation, but ठीक है वो देख लेंगे उसको. ठीक है.
key.
okay. So VRC section. Okay, this is sort of the story here. Though it's kind of I think it's one thing that uh, while we put this cat 2023, 2022, 2021, it is also important to understand that each of these slot there are three tests, right? So technically speaking, if something, let's say, is 32, there would have been one slot which will be slightly tougher than 32, other slot slightly easier than
Yeah.
32. I mean, I'm the crudest way. There is
Yeah.
a possibility of plus minus that existed in that cat itself. So there is that variation. So one way to look at it is that this is a kind of a deviation for about what couple of questions, I believe, and this is about one question more or less similar. So you could expect, I mean, at some way, even at these levels, these levels of paper in cat 22, even there would have been three slots. That this is not saying that each slot had that one, but yeah. So this is for some reason after a particular point in time, people did not get the score, but the lower score is essentially because, of course, students not attempting all the questions. A lot of you have will pick up probably about 20 questions. Maybe some of you will attempt 16 questions, and then it's a struggle with respect to accuracy. Um, I have here put in terms of the sources. give you a sense in terms of from the design point of view what the passage was. So here, the couple of sources were actually taken from encyclopedia. This particular encyclopedia of human geography, in the past, there were two passages came from here. One the passage on topophilia, another passage on visual culture. So this was taken from this book. Economics is something that we've seen last year. Nature is also a website. There is another encyclopedia. These two were dense. If you look at the grade level which is using this particular formula, these two were actually dense passages. Very brave people and looked at the last passage. All the word limit words very similar. And as usual, you see a lot of these logical question. Quite a lot of verbal ability question people struggle. I don't know whether the issue is with respect to how the questions kind of framed or kind of sources that was picked up. A lot of journals were there for this. So this probably could have been a sort of issue, but this is a story. Uh, this is the story. So with so if I kind of look at the reading comprehension first, for those of you who are seeing this graph for the first time, which I do, this represent the percentage attempt, and this represents the percentage accuracy, and it's been color coded. Anything about 60% is we have counted as green. So it seems to me that the worst passage that people attempted, the people that decided not to attempt the last one, because the passage was looking very dense and horrible. But it was that passage which had got two absolute sitters. The highest, the easiest of the question came from those two passages, that particular passage. And obviously the other two questions were kind of sort of tough. So this is sort of the struggle that happens in verbal. You cannot make a judgment just by looking at the particular passage that eventually how many marks you're going to take out from there. One way to look at it is that irrespective whichever passage that I do, I should be able to get 3 to 4 questions correct. If that happens, that's a different story. But then inherently, the question may be difficult because how the question is framed, or more important, how the options are framed. You'll never get to know what the passage is, whether the question is going, whether how the question is going to be. Of course, the key thing is if you don't comprehend the passage, life will be a problematic. But I'm assuming at this point in time, at some level, you have to basically decide that you don't know which passage you're going to attempt, right? And which how the passage is going to come to you. You should be in a position to comprehend any sort of topic, any sort of passage that is given to you. That's something that people need to work on. Okay, the first passage had at least this was upper 50 percentage, which means this will be kind of easy to medium, easy question. Couple of questions again. We had challenges with about two questions. The third second passage was on children geography. It was across board. It was either medium or just about. This will be, let's say, medium to difficult. This is about the difficult ones, difficult questions. Passage number 3 on human AI. This would be easy to medium, easy to medium. This is an easy question. I don't know why people missed it. That came down, and one was hard question. This is a kind of story that you're going to get when it comes to reading comprehension. So something that I would encourage is that, for example, let's assume that some of you are looking at all the 24 questions. Some of you looking at 20 questions. Some of you looking at 16 questions. Let's take these three scenario. This will be something like a 3 RC plus VA. This could be, let's say, 2 RC plus VA or whatever. And even let's say if I'm able to attempt about, if you're able to attempt about 12 questions, you are attempting 48 marks worth of questions, right? And in this particular case, out of this 16 questions, there could be probably, let's assume there are about 10 questions that you did not get confused. And there's about 6 questions that you really got confused. And in this question that did not get confused, let's assume that 9 questions were correct and 1 question was wrong. So if you kind of skip this question that you did not get confused, you probably will end up scoring something like a 26 or something, which will still be somewhere in the 95th percentile. I'm saying that case. But what has happened is that because you have decided not to attempt a few number of questions, you chucked out, let's say, 2 passages, you tell yourself that I have to attempt every single thing. That's the only way to survive. And you add another -6. It goes to about 20 or even worse. It kind of goes to this page, 85th percentile, it goes down. And sometimes it's that because you have spent about 2 minutes per question. I think this question that you get confused, you end up spending additional, let's say, 2 minutes, 3 minutes per question. Imagine, for example, think about the scenario. There were 3 questions where you get really confused, and you end up spending on an average 3 minutes. 9 minutes you spent on, let's say, 3 questions. That is out of the 40 minutes, that's 22.5% of the time you spend on 3 questions and end up getting a negative 3 marks. What was the point? And first of all, if you're reading the passage, you should answer the question. But if you're confused, you should not make wild guesses or not waste a lot of time in the question. So that is sort of one story that I want to talk about. Some of the mistake that he made is very one. I have a passage here, which I'll just show one of them. I don't want to show everything. Okay, let me just show this particular passage. So there is this sentence that is mentioned here. Okay, let's focus on this particular sentence. This sentence says, feminist sensitivity to difference, diversity, and political activism, focused discussion on children as competent social and spatial actor rather than marginalized social group. This is clearly saying that their discussion, their analysis, what their discourse was focused on the fact that children are competent social one. They did not focus their discussion on children being marginalized social group. Now, if you look at this particular question here, where most of you made mistake, this is like question number 6, saying the children are not marginalized. This is a rookie mistake. No, it is not saying that they are not marginalized. Feminist geographer mostly agree. They are saying that they did not focus their discussion on it, and such a kind of mistake that people end up making here. Uh, and there are a lot of these kind of traps that people fell into, and the reason why you kind of fell into a lot of these traps were because of the fact that there are the terms that is used from the passage in a lot of these questions, and kind of trapping you in. So I believe that this is essentially happening. If let's say you are getting stuck in one question, you doing extra bit of analysis, or you are missing out something. So this, what you got to do is redo all the question once again, understand what the issue that is, whatever is the number of questions that you're attempting, at least have a sensible sort of approach that says that you can get a lot of accuracy. The VA was a complete hierarchy. I mean, even something like a sentence placement question or a paragraph summary question, it definitely was tough. Yes, I can agree this. I think these options, all the options were looking very, very juicy, and you kind of have to pick out which makes sense. And the sentence placement question, especially the 17th and 18th one, there were sort of two blanks where this could possibly grow. So these were definitely one of the challenging set of questions. The odd sentence and paragraph jumble is sort of the usual story. So yeah, so anyone who got, let's say, more than 12 marks here would have kind of made was a good one. It's a good stuff. And I also would want to talk to all these people who are usually getting very high percentile, attempting all the 24 questions. If something is tough, just don't assume that you are the only person that is facing the problem. If you suffer, you suffer all. Don't blind. I'm saying that yes, you end up making bets, but there is no point making blind bets on question just out of pure ego, right? So that's something that you should avoid. And I'm sure that a lot of these mistakes that you would have made could have been avoidable, right? So this is sort of the story of VRCGP. Shivku, anything you want to add? Can be added.
Actually, I'm shocked at the VA graph.
The number of reds.
Number of reds in VA is
Ah.
normally high. So,
It
Gejo,
is
was it
correct.
so difficult or
It was the VA cap. So let's say if I look at the VA thing, no. If for example sentence placement, where is sorry, if I look at this sentence placement question, right? See if I focus on let's focus on this particular sentence placement question. Okay. So there were a lot of appealing sort of places where this sentence can go. This says, close to his own death, Freud starts to recognize poetry and promise in religion. So when he was about to die, that is when
Yeah.
he said religion is good. Okay. Now the passage starts by saying, late in life he was in his 80s. In fact,
Right.
Sigmund Freud got religion. So it's very compelling to put it right there. Okay. But if you continue to read it, it says, no, Freud didn't begin showing up at a temple every Saturday, wrapping himself in a prayer shawl and reading this Torah. To the end of his life, he maintained his stance as uncompromised atheist. Even to his end of his life, he was an atheist. Stance is best known down to earth person. In Future of Illusion, he described his belief in God as a collective neurosis. He called it longing as a father. But in its last completed book, something new emerges. There, Freud, without abandoning atheism, begins to see Jewish faith that was born into this. This is a place to put in. Close to his own death, is start to recognize poetry and promise. So it's sort of very confusing. Somebody could have easily picked this one here and then said, okay, that is it, and not really
Yeah,
realizing that.
but you cannot do sentence placement without going through the complete paragraph.
Yeah, I think some the sort of appealing sort of places. Even
Yeah,
that was a.
but Gejo, I think
Hmm,
that close to his death,
hmm.
it is the last couple of lines we talk about that part, no?
Yeah. So close to it, that immediately talks about a temporal sequence. Okay. So it start by saying start by making a broad claim. Late in his life, when
Yeah,
he got religion, then he's saying that when it began, end of his life, but they are still an atheist. But close to his
yeah.
death, when something changes. So if somebody could have given that sequencing, and I can tell you, for example, this particular question, option three, I just recorded this one here. This is where is it? This is something that I just recorded, which is you can actually see people only the 23 percentage went for option number three. There are some 28 percentage we went and put in option of the this option three here right in the middle where there was no reason was to put here.
Yeah.
So these kind of so the problem that happened here was my gut feeling, GP, is that when people do the RC, when they end up doing VA, they don't have enough. They're always struggling, hurrying, because they
Yeah,
wasted time in some of this.
but you cannot short circuit the process. You have to read the complete paragraph for sentence placement and other stuff. Same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
I would say for the parajumbles and parasummary also. The first thing coming to your mind cannot be the answer out here till you have gone through the entire thing.
yeah.
So
This
I
was
would say, yeah,
what is also happening is that because, for example, let's say somebody is doing certain passages right, what they would have done is they would have spent this extra additional minute in some of these questions where they got negatives, right? So it's so easy to get stuck in a question, no? So if they're so easy to get stuck in a question, ये 2 minute, end में ये सब जल्दी जल्दी करता होगा. Or I don't know, when people start, so that the short circuit process is not a problem. I think this was genuine pain. I think this is impossible. I would have got it wrong in the examination also. But they were all of these were crackable. All of these were crackable. The odd sinners were also crackable, but it
so
required that sort
this is
of
a
process.
paper which has given good learning material for the students.
Yeah. This would have been a paper. I think people would have still issues with respect to paragraph summary questions and stuff. But even it is sort of just a slight sort of changes. In this case, if you don't evaluate the options really well, you got a problem. That is a VA problem. So even if somebody had survived VA and got more than 12, would have done a great job. So at the end of it, it's going to be a great learning process. But the important thing is that people should not be making the same mistake again. Make new mistake, but you can't be repeating the same the things every single time where you're getting stuck in questions. And
Yeah.
yeah. So there is DLR story. Yeah, well, I think we have seen this DLR sometime.
We wanted to keep it around, Quant and DILR around CAT 2022, right?
Okay.
Looks like DILR is more like a CAT 2021.
Yeah. So
GP, how did you find that?
I think all four sets were doable. Frankly, if you look at this, one of those few papers where it's a case of problem of plenty. Where do I start from? Yeah, so you could have started from any one. My personal preference would have been to start from set number one or set number two. There's a
okay.
sports academy or there's a flags wala jo hai. Though the challenge with the data sets like the flags wala is that you have to copy it on a sheet of paper and copying it have to be careful they don't make a mistake. Okay, but again, whether it is the election wala or study abroad, all of them were doable sets. There is nothing in the paper which was, I would say, difficult. So you could have started from any one set. Frankly speaking, it's a question of personal choice. And this is a paper in which you have not done two sets. I would say it's an underachievement. This paper definitely deserved at least two, preferably three sets. Okay. And doing four, I would not say was out of question. It was possible, though I don't think most of the students would be ready for that kind of a thing at present, at this point of time, because they would not have got to that speed level. But ठीक है, दो तो पक्का बनता था इसके अंदर.
तो इसमें basically दो set
But after the open mock, I think going beyond 2 attempts, people would have found कि अच्छा, going beyond 2 sets would have been they would have been a little unsure about attempting the third, I guess.
Yeah, but if you have time, why not? To me, surety or not being sure about going for the third one does not matter if I have time. And this was a paper in which you could have easily done 3 sets. Okay. So ठीक. And though I would say there was also a bias in this paper that the sets were more. If you remove the flats wala set, all the other 3 sets required you to have some control of numbers. If you are good with numbers, it is not going to be difficult to handle these sets. Okay. Because you had to make those cases with numbers, placements, and etc. Yeah. So if you look at this one, a 3 by 3 matrix to be created,
Yeah.
three academies and 3 games, and then
Oh,
ratios are there. Okay, so simple, straightforward set, easy to attempt. I would say nothing to be worried about as such. And this is the one. The challenge in this kind of set is that you should be able to, one, you have to copy table one onto your sheet of paper. Second, when you are picking up data from table two, going back and forth can be a bit disconcerting for many stores. So that is where you could need to be a little careful. Otherwise, the choices or the questions are telling you very clearly you will be able to fill up the table completely. And that was true for even the previous set. Both the paper, both the sets, set one and set two, are telling you that if you look at the questions, question 25 definite answer, question 26 definite answer, question 27 is the one which is saying there was some ambiguity, which of the following cannot be determined. Okay, and question 28 also same, but that is not the case with the next set of data. Okay,
yeah.
okay, so if you look, so that is, I'm sure that is what would have given people some amount of confidence. But yes, if you are doing set number two for the first time, that might take students a little bit of time. Okay, this kind of a data. Uh, I think well, good start point that F3 F4 being a zero say overlap was a good starting point for this.
Yeah. Okay.
So typically it is zero overlap, one overlap, or all over or four overlap is what you would look at, and so not too difficult, I would say. Okay. You go to the third set. Again, here this was set a 5 by 3 matrix, 5 constituencies, three companies or three sorry parties, and you had to find out how many votes each one of them got. So here again you are playing with numbers. Like the first set, you are playing with numbers out here, and the same would be the issue in the next set. So anyone with control or command over numbers should be doing at least 3. Otherwise, minimum 2 I think is definitely on. In fact, Gejo, if you just go to the previous slide, yeah,
Yeah.
this one again you can see very clearly. Uh, all the answers are give definite answers. Number of votes received by A, range of of votes of B. If A and C, B and C, A and C form a coalition, obviously that means you know their votes. How many are there? Okay, so same with question 39 also. So doable set, no ambiguity, not many cases. Play with numbers and get to the answer. And the last set again is the missing data table. Okay.
Okay.
In this set, I think the last 2 questions some students may have struggled.
Okay.
That
Is
कट
it,
ऑफ पार्ट शायद थोड़ा सा स्ट्रगल हुआ हो, तो ज्यादा मुश्किल तो ये भी नहीं था.
I'm sure that there will be some of the students who basically looked at this ugly looking table, a little bit different looking table and ditched it. I'm sure that there would have been a bad idea, no? Just by looking at the table and saying that
Yeah.
it just
See,
seemed
also
like
if you look at this particular set, 50% of the table is already filled up.
correct.
Okay.
So and then I think you have to then work with this is commonality, right? That's
Yeah,
what.
yeah, that's right.
How many of these
Parameters which are common.
how many of
So
these
F1,
parameters?
F2 have to have only one parameter in common. F1, F3 have 3 parameters in common.
Okay,
F3,
okay.
F4 have 0 parameters in common.
So there is if this is 1800, this cannot be 1800. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And each of them have only 2 variations. two different for carpet area, two possibilities for car parking, same for bedroom, 3 bedrooms or 4 bedroom. Price can be either 2.5, 3. So each of them has only two possibilities. So which is why I said zero commonality, very good for start point, one commonality, and the other extreme would be four commonality. So 0, 1, and 4 is what I would typically look at in these sets.
Okay. So it was a set where so if I actually look at the performance wise, so if I look at this is what? If I look at the number of questions here, this is once again, this is these are each question 5 question,
Five
no?
questions, one set.
This is 5 question. This where is a 2 question? This about this
Two
is where
sets will give you 99 percentile, 98 percentile rather.
this is where people where this is about 2 sets. Na story till here. 2 sets is what?
Two sets
10
is 10
questions,
question, 30 marks. Huh?
30 marks. So till here, okay, somewhere here, okay.
Yeah, till
Uh,
97 percentile. Assuming you get everything right, if you get a couple of wrong answers, then you'll probably be between 90 and 95.
so if I actually look at CAT 2020, technically speaking, 2 sets went till about 99 percentile, na? So so the third set here therefore those of the and also doesn't mean that if you solve the set you'll get all the 5 questions correct. Okay, huh? So usually people in
That's
the
right.
borderline situation would likely be 3 set also. So here what was needed was to solve 3 sets, I believe. So
Yeah, this
so
was a paper. Anything less than 2 sets would be an underperformance.
so you cannot be I think you cannot be starting a particular the paper saying that I will have pre-decided number of sets I will do. Unless
Yes.
of course you have got your objective is just to clear the cutoff. Okay. So you're starting by saying that
Yeah. So which is why I think it is extremely important that students go through the paper before they start solving the sets. Because once you go through the paper, all the sets, you spend 5 minutes going through all the 4 sets, you'll at least have an idea as to what is the level of this paper. Okay, so I've already made the overview video as well as the Jugaad video for Quant. So if you look at the DILR overview video, I've said that clearly that this is a paper in which everything looks doable, and it's a personal preference because of which you will take a particular set up or you'll not take it up. But 3 sets, 2 sets definitely yes, it's doable. 3 sets is what I would target in this paper.
yeah, like
So
you
if
said,
you,
the last 2 questions people did not attempt much. Okay, so that's
yeah,
sort of yeah. So people went. I think majority went for 1 and 2, and then figured out one more maybe. That's what
yeah,
probably would have happened.
that's right.
But okay.
And
So
I'm not uncomfortable with the selection choice. It is yes, they were the first 2 sets, but probably they were the best 2 sets to be attempted also. Election wala jo hai, there it was a little tricky because while it is playing with numbers, I think many people would have struggled. The numbers also saying that, and wahan pe because the data given is very low, and unless you have good command of numbers and you can play with numbers very well, you will struggle with the third set. So first 2 sets are the right options for or the best choice for the strokes. After that, you could do the fourth set and just forget about the second last. Actually, was easy. While 43 is less than 40% accuracy, I don't think it was that difficult. It is just because possibly people had less time. It was at the fag end of the paper for them, or maybe they did not read that carefully.
so we have a QA.
Quant is a relatively easy one.
But relatively easy ka hai, it's like same it's like cat only. I think we
वही
are,
है.
we, are, we are basically comparing this to too much of cat 2023.
हाँ,
Right.
शिव को मेरा ये है कि this is your regular CAT paper. This is not CAT
Correct.
23. CAT 23 so far was a aberration. So far, I would say
My-
aberration.
Yeah, absolutely, GB. I think while designing it, we also said ki was Cat 23 is not likely to be Cat 24. I think Cat 24 is likely to be a little easier than Cat 23. So I'm making this assumption, and then we said ki okay, let's look at Cat 2022, and we would want to be somewhere close to Cat 22. That was the basic theme under which we designed this. If you go to the next slide, Gejo. So we said that we'll not put too many difficult questions, right? So the reds wanted to keep it as little as possible. Actually, I'm a little surprised with the greens. I thought there were a little more greens than the greens that we see here. Uh, but the yellows basically tells you that there are lots of moderate questions, and that was the intention. But the greens seem to be a little less than what I thought would be the greens. The reds seem okay. A lot of greens seem to have moved into the yellows, right? In that sense, so
Yeah.
people have found there were a few questions here. Jahan pe, I mean, this paper was about if you're committed to giving those 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. So there are questions where it's a little painful, but you say, okay, let me finish this question in 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes instead of skipping them. You would have got to a lot of answers. So uh, this is about commitment of time. I think if people had just skipped, they would have got less marks. But if somebody had said, okay, let me pick, even if somebody had said, ki, let me pick all arithmetic, I think they would have got 5 to 6 questions right in that.
Uh,
And there were
Actually,
about 3 or 4 easy questions in algebra as well. So 7 to 9 questions is, I think, must have been the attempts that most of the people should have had.
So they
9
should
to
have been
10.
here. Okay.
Yeah. 9 to 10 attempts was, I think, definitely on.
So these actually
act-
these kind, if I look at the graph, it kind of tells me that you have to. It's not like you have to put in some work to get the answers. Sometimes I think that's what at
Correct.
least what. Okay, okay.
actually मेरे को एक चीज पे हैरानी है इसमें क्वेश्चन 46 and 48. I thought
मैं
they
भी
were
वही
very
देख रहा
good
था,
questions.
कैसे हो गया 46?
मैं- इसका मतलब ये लोगों को एवरेजेस आता नहीं है क्या?
पता
Both the
नहीं, I
question
think
of averages, similar questions and easy questions.
the first 3 I put was 45, 46, 48. Should have been, I mean, most people should have done it.
45, definitely. 45 should have been 100% accuracy.
Huh.
Well, all you
46.
need to do is check which of them add up to a perfect square or multiply some multiple of it is a perfect square.
I mean, I'm very
So,
surprised
very
why somebody
straightforward
wouldn't do
question.
45.
The total number is not greater than. Oh God. Okay.
So you look for squares less than 500.
Okay.
Uh,
You just look at the choices ना, उससे आ जाएगा आंसर. So मेरे को बहुत शॉक लगा जब मैंने देखा 45 100% नहीं है and 46 48 the two averages question similar to each other. चलो फॉर्चुनेटली जुगाड़ वीडियो में मैंने ये दोनों डाल दिए 46 48 में एंड इसीलिए डाला था, मुझे लगा था कि शायद many people may not be very comfortable with averages even at this stage.
ये
On the
46
contrary,
वाला,
हाँ.
जीबी जो 46 वाला नहीं करता है ना, आई थिंक
हाँ.
वो मुझे लगता है कि these are questions that kind of throw some idea that LRDA में भी numbers का problems में ये लोग struggle करते होंगे.
हाँ,
For
ये
a-
बात
for
सही
a-
कह रहा है. ठीक है. एंड शिव को एक और चीज देख, जियो कैन यू जस्ट गो बैक टू द ग्राफ
Sure.
49 50. Okay. Yeah. Question number 50. It is that lengthy question. I'm not saying it is difficult. It says one installment is 200 more than the other. It does not tell me is it the first installment which is 200 more or the second installment which is higher. So I have to do two cases to solve that question.
इसीलिए लोग फंस गए होंगे उसमें.
नहीं, बट इसको करने की जरूरत नहीं थी, मेरा कहना है.
हाँ.
And you are leaving that average question and look at question 45 again. I'll go back to question 45. Only about 50% accuracy and 65% attempt. So to me, it is still a choice of question which is an issue. I will not do question number 50 that compound interest money lender में दो installment वाला, because बहुत दो केस क्यों बनाऊंगा मैं? I
वो
don't know
actually
whether it is x and x plus 200 or is it x plus 200 and x. Why will I make two different cases, यार? When
मुझे
the
लगता है
ample
वो वाला आइडिया चमका भी नहीं होगा जीपी काफी लोगों को.
अच्छा,
दो केसेस
assume
है
that,
करके लोगों को चमका नहीं होगा.
maybe that is why the accuracy is also not very high.
Exactly. That's the reason why the accuracy is low. But 45 is only 60% of people solving it. I mean, the first question that you see, right? It's such a easy question. Why should somebody skip it? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
little
This question should not have been missed by anyone.
yeah.
The easiest question of this paper.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
And it's very strange that people are not doing average well because the only discussion that everybody has is average salary. So kind of. All right. And then
So if you,
hmm.
Then
Actually, if
actually,
you
you
just
know,
go, ah,
then 48 was there. Then 51 is also easy one, right?
51 भी आसान है, बहुत आसान है.
53
52,
अगर
I think people would have struggled.
वो देख के वो language could have been a little better, I think, that 52 वाला.
नहीं, but ठीक है. I think it's still
हाँ,
understandable. It's not an
बट
issue.
उसमें एक्चुअली 52 में अगर जहाँ पे ई है वो आंसर नहीं हो सकता है.
मैंने तो वही किया जीजो, शिवकू.
दैट इज अ सिंपल थिंग कि जहाँ पे ई
And
है
Shivku,
आंसर नहीं हो सकता है.
Shivku, end of the day, when you look at question like question 52, these are not questions which you can solve.
करेक्ट.
If you are going to solve it, is going to be a 7, 8, 10 minute exercise. There's a question, either you do a jugaad, eliminate choices, or you leave the question. It's not a कि कोशिश करो, टाइम लगाओ, हो जाएगा, ये वाला सवाल है ही नहीं. 53 again, I don't know how many have attempted, but my guess is it might have been a challenge.
तुषार,
Three
I
of,
think
अरे वाह, not bad, 50% with 60, almost.
Tushar is saying I
But
mostly
this
left.
is, but to me, 53 question is something which is, if you know time and work, this is a definite to be attempted question.
करना चाहिए, हाँ बिल्कुल.
It's, and the number is also very easy. Now, if a woman is at least 62.5% as efficient as a man, 5 by 8, that means in this particular case, it is saying 8 women can do as much work as 5 men. And the other extreme is both are equally efficient, which is 8 men equal to 8 women. So this is a standard question. The only thing is you have given it one extra step to be done because you have to find the range. But by and large, this was a straightforward time and work question which should have been attempted. And one of the mistakes I find students doing in this kind of a question is they start working in 44 days में होता है तो 1 by 44 लेके शुरू हो जाएंगे. This kind of a question should not be done in that manner. It should be done, okay, convert everything either in terms of men or in terms of women.
right.
Okay.
Then 54 is an easy one. If somebody has said कि okay मुझे geometry करना ही नहीं है, you would have skipped this.
ये ज्योमेट्री थोड़ी ना, ये तो क्वाड्रेटिक, ये वो है यार.
हाँ ये तो बिल्कुल numbers भी है. 54 था. हाँ. 54.
360 by n is the exterior angle, and the biggest exterior angle will smallest exterior angle will be when n is 360.
Yes, 1 degree.
वैल्यू चाहिए यार. 55, 56 मुझे तो समझ ही नहीं आया, शिव को मैंने छोड़ दिया.
नहीं 56 is a simple one, GP. This is a very
क्या वो
simple.
कॉस साइन देख के मैंने छोड़ दिया.
हाँ तो
मेरे को कॉस साइन का बिल्कुल मूड नहीं था कुछ देखने का. I said not worth it.
ऐसे वाला क्वेश्चन इस पिछले बार आया था ऐसे वाला क्वेश्चन.
हाँ नहीं आया था, और मैंने उसको भी छोड़ दिया था.
हाँ, but
I'm consistent in that regard.
Is it a triangle figure altered? So this can be, I can do 30, 60, 90 triangle.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
I can just do 30, 60 degree. Huh?
You can do it, absolutely.
हाँ. उसका cost sign at least I know.
उसी का मालूम है.
So, all right, okay.
So 57 में I think people would have made a mistake. Okay. Because if there are 2 bacteria getting created every hour, it is becoming 3 times. I hope people have picked that up. If there are 5 bacteria, for every bacteria produced after every hour, it is becoming 6 times. If you have picked that up, then it's a very straightforward one-line answer.
If 58 is a CDC log वाला question है.
हाँ, log वाला है तो दिक्कत नहीं आनी चाहिए. 59 is your standard question. Start with b equal to minus 25 and check.
Correct. Bas.
Yeah, it starts with minus 24. Then after that, multiples of 3 start happening. 60 जुगाड़ question है शिव कुमार लिए.
60.
Gejo, I'm sure you'll be able to pick it up. प्रेशर पे डाल दिया. What I said was 11 square plus 0 square is 121. 7 square plus 0 square is 49. So that mx plus ny equal to 77 gets satisfied. 11 into 7 plus 0 into 0.
Okay.
Y by x is equal to 0. Three choices are giving me divided by 0. Choice 3 is the only one which satisfies. See, choice 1 is m by n. N is 0. So anything divided by 0 cannot be defined so long. Choice 2 again has a n in denominator. Choice 4 has n in denominator. Choice C is the only choice which has n in numerator. So it will give me a value of 0.
Okay.
So y by x has to be equal to 0. Choice 3 is equal to 0. That's the answer. 62 is another Jugaad question. Pattern
62.
identification in question 62.
Uh,
If it is only the first term, if they want to take only the first one, you will. Okay, before that, what we need to do is find the value of n. What is the value of n in this expression is what we need to find. So I said, let me do a pattern. Gejo, if you can write on one corner, this will be 1 upon n plus 1 minus 1 upon 2
2 times 1, na?
equal to 1 by 2.
1 by 2 point. Okay, correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this tells me n is equal to 0. So if I'm taking only one term, n is equal to 0.
First term. Okay.
Yeah. Next, I take the first two, 1 upon n plus 1 plus 1 upon n plus 2 minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 12. Yeah, plus 1 by 12 equal to
This is 1 by 4.
1 by 4. Yeah. This gives you n equal to 1.
Okay, so it's moving a little.
So that means if I've got 1012 terms, n should be equal to 1011. So if n is 1011, answer will be 202, sorry. बाकी तो ठीक है. 65 शिवू, I don't know स्टूडेंट्स के में था कि नहीं, but if you look at this PDF इसमें एक question mark है. I'm not sure what this means.
तो मैं चेक करता हूँ.
So ये टाइप ये इसमें क्या कहते हैं, font में कुछ हो गया issue. 66 would have been straightforward. Substitute
66 is a straightforward question.
Substitute 2 and minus 1 by 3 in the two equations. Compare the equations, you will get the Q upon P.
So basically, this paper is how much maths do you know? How much maths have you studied?
Yeah, is a reflection. And Gejo, there are quite a few standard questions. So time speed distance का जो है question जो आके मिलते हैं, या time and work, or even if you look at this log question. On the next page, you have that log question. Question 58. Okay. Question 57 is a standard question. Okay. So there are quite a few, and 59 again is a standard question. So these are the questions you would have definitely done if you are preparing sincerely. These are the standard questions. So this paper had at least 7-8 standard questions, and those are the standard questions you should definitely be attempting. In addition to that, you had questions like question 45, etc., which you could have done by just checking the choices.
And you know the reason why many of people have not done question number 45, if I understand, is that people don't check choices, right? So it is inherently that everybody wants to solve and get the answer, na? So that what we are doing in terms of problem solving skills, which is to say all, or what GP calls it Jugaad, right? Which talks about the fact that there are multiple ways to reach the answer. So this is, somebody would have said which of the following cannot be the ratio. Oh my God, they would have left. So that problem solving mentality which says that, okay, I've got some information that is given, this is what I need to find out, somehow I have to reach here, right? If I know the formula, I'll know the formula. If I have to check for pattern, like what GP is saying, check for pattern, that they check for pattern. So only way to improve sort of this skill is when you redo all these questions once again, and when during analysis phase, look for what could be the 3-4 different ways of solving it. Now, if you're not doing this, incorporating this particular thing, some other things won't work. But how many times we have seen questions of modulus? How many? We see it every single time. And I'm sure that this particular question modulus, I think, let me check question number 61 and question number 58. I'm just going to look at the attempt. My feeling is that attempt is going to be low. 58 and 61. 58 and 61. There you go. I mean, this is relatively low only. 58 is like sort of the rock star there. Half of you basically left this question because for you log is you don't want to do log. Half of you missed this question because modulus is a chapter that you've ignored. I think this kind of reflects. These are not decision made on whether or not question is inherently difficult to easy. These are decision made on the fact that I don't want to do certain chapters or topics. And when we keep seeing this, how many times have we seen logs? How many times have we seen modulus? How many times have we seen those number of natural number solutions? How many times have we seen questions around the standard ones? And yet, and at some point in time, you have to make the decision and say that let's get and do just do log. Na. Why is it's
And
a
and this was a standard log question. If you have gone through the first funda of log, you should be able to solve this. So my issue here would be that the attempt rate or the accuracy rate for standard questions is not up to the mark. These are standard questions that you have done in your preparation. These kind of questions have come in the past in CAT. Whatever study material you have of Career Launcher or from any other place, these questions are there in all these material. So what this tells me is maybe you have not really done your material also sincerely. Because those 7-8, let's say 7-8 standard questions and 3-4 questions which can be done easily with choices. That is what this paper meant.
There's somebody who mentioned somewhere that some of the questions were lengthy, but I think there have been CATs where questions have been lengthy.
Yeah.
So one of the things was to kind of compensate maybe the ease.
So length ka bhi jo hai na issue, you can reduce it by the help of choices. Gejo, if you can just go back to the paper, I'll again give a couple of examples where the length could have been taken care of.
Achha, there are a lot of people asking that DILR question 29. I think there was a mistake in the answer key. I just checked it. It's being
मेरा
corrected.
आंसर तो ठीक है.
Answer key wala it has already been sent to be refreshed.
ठीक है. Yeah. Yeah, Gejo, if you can. Now, if you look at this paper, when you say it is lengthy, look at question 47. Once you form the basic equation, substitute the choices, your time reduces to 50%. Otherwise, you end up forming a lengthy quadratic equation to solve. If I remember correctly, Gejo, if you can just write down on the right hand side,
Sure.
d plus 5 into d plus 3 divided by d minus 5 into d minus 3 should be equal to 3 by 1. Yeah. Now, if I have this equation, this is what I have formed. I will just substitute the choices because the choices are about d only, where d is the distance between PQ. Now, if you are going to solve this equation, yes, you will get the answer. It's a quadratic equation you will form. But what stops you from just putting the choices and checking? If I put d equal to 12, numerator has 17, denominator has 7, cannot be the answer. I don't even need to do it completely. Because if I have a 7 in the denominator, I don't have a multiple of 7 in the numerator, there's no way I'll get an integer value.
But 20 sides of create stupid, uncute numbers, na?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. You substitute 15, you'll get the answer, end of the story. So my point is, a little bit of what Gejo said, I think is important. Are you looking at the choices?
If I look immediately look at 30, he's going to create a stupid 33 here. If I look at 18 plus 5 is create a stupid 23. Okay.
23.
5 looks so nice. 15 looks so nice. 20, 18.
Yeah. Not only that, plus 3 minus 3 with 15 will give me multiples of 3 only.
Correct.
Similarly, if you look at question 49, I don't know what is the accuracy rate of question 49 or attempt rate. But I think not many, but there's effectively a weighted average question, Shivku. Look at the last line. Some items I'm selling at a loss of 5%. Some items I'm selling at a profit of X%, which I need to find, and my overall profit is 10%. This is a weighted average question.
ये करना क्या?
नहीं ये नहीं हाँ इसका उल्टा करना है. Allegation की जरूरत नहीं है.
अच्छा okay. All right.
So my issue here is essentially standard questions should not be missed, and please start looking at the choices.
So when you say lengthy means what? Lengthy means that it's going to
in
take
in terms of the number of words in the question.
number of words in the question. Lengthy, matlab, that's an RC issue. It has got nothing to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
So
you
if you
can.
remember, Gejo, one of the things about, I think, 2021 or 2022 CAT was it suddenly became a attempts did not go shoot up as much, primarily because the question length was more. And it is, how do people read a quant question is the same problem of RC.
So if I go back and look at let's even look at something like a 38, right? Let's take 38. 38 is let's take 39. We're looking at 13 questions, right? 13 questions in 40 minutes, right? So
3
it's
minutes
like
per
Correct.
question.
I'm saying that you technically you have 3 minutes per question. If you commit to a question at the end of it, if you solve in 3 minutes, you should get the question correct. So the reason why it becomes lengthy is why? What are the length? Okay, let me define what lengthy means. Lengthy means obviously by reading I'm reading the lot many cases in the GB people don't realize this. When they're reading the question, they don't understand what the question is asking. So it becomes a
Correct.
fundamental RC issue. People have to read the question twice, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and then they start writing at some point in time. At second is like sitting and thinking about how do I reach and what to start putting in. So that'll be the second. Other thing is that other thing is that at some point in time getting stuck. But I'm sure lot many cases, especially arithmetic questions, the issue will be reading comprehension.
Yeah.
A
Absolutely.
DLR में lot many cases, how many people have to read sentences twice, thrice, 4 times just to understand what is going on? It's inherently a RC issue. So if you at some level, if you improve your reading comprehension by reading articles every single day and multiple reading, not anything, it is going to have an impact across. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gejo. In fact, Tushar is saying something similar. He's avoiding reading questions. And Tushar, your assumption is shorter the question, easier it will be. Length of the question has got nothing to do with degree of difficulty. On the
वन लाइन
contrary,
वन
on the
लाइनर
contrary, I
कितने
would
क्वेश्चंस
say,
आते हैं?
हाँ नहीं
वन
वन
लाइनर
लाइनर
कितने क्वेश्चंस आते हैं?
को जो भी आते हैं मेरे को एक और उसमें इशू है end of the day if I'm a paper setter if I have a easy question I'll try to make it look difficult मैं उसको एक कहानी बेकार की डाल दूंगा so that the student waste time into it but that does not take away the fact it's an easy question if you go back to that thing
So there is one other thing that I got to talk about. Okay, one other thing. When you say length, median speed of reading of people, median speed of reading of let's say of people who are like your case about 200 words per minute. Okay, this is in 1 minute. This particular question had hardly about 40, 50, or 50, 100 words. Malu, you say that you say that I am finding it. And what are we reading? There is nothing that is complicated in which what you're reading. As soon as you're reading, you can list down what's going on. No, this is like
yeah Gijo, my thesis is that to read a question you need anything between 20 to 30 seconds read the
hmm.
question comfortably at your pace you will typically not need more than half a minute if you speed up, that 30 seconds will become 25 seconds and you will lose your understanding of the question. So, reading a question should not be done at a fast pace, it should be done at a pace at which you're comfortable.
The
So,
second thing,
don't
second
try
thing.
to save time in reading and don't start by saying, I will do only one liners. That would have been the case if it was if it was a paper of 90s because there the number of questions was higher and you had to they were more of speed test. This is not a speed test.
So another thing that you got to understand about reading, no, for example, if I read this particular sentence, the average marks of QA section of CAT mock test for 20 students 32. That is giving me information for me to write down. Every single sentence is giving information. For example, if I'm reading this, a nutrition is analyzing health drink that is composed of 3 ingredients ABC. What is important? He said the health drink. Why is it important? There are ABC. Now this particular sentence is very different from that particular sentence, right? So here all they're saying there is ABC. Initial ratio is 4:6:10. Okay, due to change in manufacturing, the ratio decreased by 50%. A lot of these words that is added here, initial ratio of these ingredients, the some of this thing is giving us information that is needed for me to answer. Some of these are not there. So if I look at some of these longer versions of they said, I don't know how it's even. So for example, look at this. A retailer buys 2 types of articles A and B in 2 lots from the wholesaler. Why is wholesaler important? Why is retail important? Uh, uh, so the if there are more number of words, I think that sometimes has sort of more number of stories. These are all
IFT used
and
to specialize in this.
IFT. Once upon a time, yeah. And this was the shortest one, because actually, but this short one is actually giving a lot of information, much more than what is information can given by this long fellow. Each one is giving information. This is like it's giving a piece of information. I could have
Yeah.
written this in sentences. The once you see, I've list down the information down. For example, from this particular sentence, I'm listing down information down. No, log 293 plus this is equal to 5, and then start is working. In the same thing is that this long sentence here, these two sentences, is giving me merely information that says that ABC is 4 is to 6 is to 10. So please don't blame it on lengthy or. Well, I mean, the worst thing that people can do is fall for looks. I mean, everybody's adult. By now, they would have realized looks. Don't fall for looks. There you go.
शादी कर रहे हैं ना.
Chalo, okay. So,
Hello.
Okay. Chalo फिर. Okay. And hopefully next paper will be much better. What is overall still positive is that DILR attempt has improved. At least people are able to increase their score as per the paper. And even in Quant, the attempt rate, though not as good as I wanted it to be, is definitely improved. And those I have put up 2 videos today, 3 videos recorded, and I think they'll get uploaded tonight or maybe tomorrow. One is the overview of DILR, another is overview of Quant, where I've discussed which question or which sets to be attempted and why and in what sequence. And QA Jugaad video, but it has not only Jugaad video. I've covered some of the questions which I felt students will be leaving. Okay, so hopefully it should help you in solving those questions, and go through it for those questions where you got stuck and which we have talked about with respect to Jugaad.
and by the way, for next week onwards, we are the different cities. We are traveling for race
Yes.
to 99 percentile. So one of us will meet. Some of us
Yeah,
will
so
meet.
we'll meet again. And all those of you who are online students, my suggestion would be attend one of the offline sessions closest to you. We will be doing CAT 23 slot 1 paper. We will be building upon what we did in the previous sessions, which for Quant and DILR. Okay, we'll take one question, Gejo.
Sure, GP.
Silly calculation mistakes. How can I improve?
So the
Surya.
first, sorry.
Yeah.
सिली का डेफिनेशन देना पड़ेगा.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yes.
नहीं, वो टेनिस का अनफोर्स्ड एरर है और कुछ नहीं है. जल्दबाजी में गलती कर दी without really. See, most of the time these silly calculated mistakes or unforced errors happen because I am rushing through the question. I have not read the question carefully. I am doing the calculation faster than what I can. I am doing oral calculation when I am not comfortable with oral calculation. So I know I am not comfortable, yet I do it. I know I will not understand the question if I read very fast, yet I do it. These are the reasons of silly mistakes, Surya. So just slow down. If you do one question less, it would not matter.
There's another reason why some people make silly mistake. Okay, and I think I don't know whether it's a case, Surya, but silly mistake also made of lack of confidence, right? Why am I not able to control my pace? Because I believe that my pace, my actual pace of solving a particular question is not good enough. I have to go faster than my pace. That's when the silly error happens, right? If you're confident about yourself, and if you back yourself and say that मेरा pace में करूँगा, okay,
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to get the score. Right, that level of confidence you're lacking. Well, otherwise, why you're writing everything fast? Why are you going faster than your pace? Because you don't trust your pace.
Yeah.
So that is, I think that behavioral change is something that you could do. I'm just assuming that's very that's going to be that is a problem. But that behavioral change you got to do.
Okay, Anirudh, 25th of this month, I think we have in Ghaziabad. The schedule will be is being uploaded on the Race to 99 page of the website. It will be available in your My Zone also, so you can check out there. And then next weekend, after 25th, the weekend after that, the next Saturday, Sunday, we'll be covering another 3-4 cities, but offhand I don't remember. So check your My Zone.
Yeah.
So check your My Zone for the schedule. It will be uploaded there. In fact, let me check if it is available.
if you Google race to RT Nandan career launcher, you'll get the link. I think if you want a simplest way to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's uploaded. Yeah, I'll just share the link.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So Anirudh and others, I've just posted the link. Okay. So you've just posted the link, so you can check the schedule. And as I said, we'll build up on what we covered. We'll take it the next step, and the relevant paper for this session is going to be CAT 23 slot 1 paper. Okay, then we close, and we hope to meet you in one of these sessions in the coming couple of weeks. Okay,
Yeah. Bye bye.
okay then. Good night. All the best.